From behind the plate, one thing is clear. Rays pitchers have a strong reputation at every level.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulises.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who have been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
Later on today's show, we continue our conversation with Tampa Bay Rays prospect Tatem Levins, who discusses how all the baseball rules changes are affecting catchers. In a few minutes, Levins breaks down how he prepares mentally and physically for a long minor league season. But to start, the minor league all-star discusses the Rays' philosophy on player development. It seems like, Tatem, you have some interesting stories with phones between the insurance agent that you thought was actually the Mariners and then putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. And during those 50 minutes, a major trade happens. And you mentioned a little bit about the scouting reports of the Rays, but just in general, the organization as a whole, how is it different, or what do they do differently than the Seattle Mariners? Like, what stands out about being in the Rays organization for you?
I would say the pitching aspect is the first thing that comes to mind. It feels like these arms grow on trees here. Like every single one of our guys has a plus pitch or multiple plus pitches, and extreme pitchability in those situations as well. Like every single one of our starters this year was an absolute dog in Montgomery, and it was made my job a heck of a lot easier calling games and then just managing that pitching staff as a whole. But definitely one of the things I noticed with the Mariners at first was like, wow, like they got a lot of good arms here. But then when I got with the Rays, I was like, oh, everyone's a good arm here.
That's really well. That's the stereotype for a reason, right? Because it gets proven time and time again. You mentioned arms everywhere. Friend of the pod, Brody Hopkins, was also one of those all-stars. Can you give us a breakdown? If somebody says, hey, who's Brody Hopkins? What's his repertoire? What does he do good? Why does he had such a great 2025 season? Like, break him down for us.
I mean, one of the first things that I would say about him, if you would ask me who the grossest pitcher I've ever caught in my life was, my immediate answer is going to be Brody. His stuff is absolutely unbelievable. He can run it up to 101 miles per hour. He has 5 different pitches that he can throw, all for strikes, elite movement on all those pitches. He's an absolute pleasure to catch. The only thing that gets hard sometimes is that he throws 101. So that's the only tough thing, is just being able to frame it every single time. Other than that, though, every single time he takes them out, it's going to be an absolute treat if you're a fan.
So from Brody Hopkins back to Tatem Levins, let's talk about you a little bit. We were looking at your splits versus left-handed pitchers and right-handed pitchers. And one thing that stood out to us was you're pretty much even across the board. In other words, you hit lefties very well and you hit righties very well. Is that by design? Is that something that's kind of been your calling card for a little bit, or it just happened to be a year where, hey, you were feeling it against both lefties and righties?
I know last year I struggled a bit against lefties, and I know going into this year, one of the big things I changed was my pitch selection at the plate and the pitches I'm looking for to do damage on. And I would say not just versus lefties, but also versus righties, just in general, is having that approach at the plate, looking for the pitch I want to hit and not the pitch that they're either going to throw that count, or not chasing, really trying to be kind of stubborn up there, looking for what I want. I know I had a decent bit of walks this year. I showed a lot of almost passiveness at times at the plate, but I think it turned out in my favor more oftentimes than not.
I mean, you have a 405 bleeping on base percentage. I mean, that's gaudy, man. That's crazy. Does that come with time? Because I mean, it does seem like in the minors, you've always had a really good eye at the plate.
I would like to think I had a decent eye at the plate going into college and then going into pro ball as well. I would like to think that just the work I did with a lot of our coaches this year and coordinators, as well as our analytics team, just honing in on what my strengths are as a hitter and just really trying to go after those strengths.
Are those meetings pre-game, post-game? Are they in the off season? Are they emails? Are they Zoom meetings? Are they brochures? Like, tell us a little bit about how those meetings go.
Definitely the bigger ones are ones that they do during the off season or before the season starts. And then there's daily meetings, whether it's the pitching report that for the guy that we're going to be facing that night, or we're going into a new week and they're giving us all the reports for the relievers included, so what we can expect going into that road trip or that matchup going into that night.
Yeah. Now, Tatum, we talked about your offensive numbers a little bit, and I like to think of catchers as almost being like a two-way player or a three-way player in a sense, because you have to manage the pitching staff, you have to handle your defensive duties, and for the Rays organization, that seems to be first and foremost with their catchers, at least at the major league level, is, hey, we want to make sure that you have everything handled behind the plate, and then anything we get offensively is a bonus. But how do you manage everything that you have to do as far as being the battery and then still being able to contribute offensively? Does it get overwhelming at times, or you've kind of found a good ground of like, hey, I can handle it all, I can do it all?
You put that really good. The Rays really do put an emphasis on the catching point of view, and that's the biggest aspect that we're expected to do as catchers for the Rays is the catching point. Not really so much hitting. That comes as kind of a cherry on top to what you do. And you put it really good. We really do have 3 jobs out there, maybe even more some days.
Yeah.
But going over the reports with the pitching coordinator that day, whether it's the game plans for the hitters, going into the new week, looking at what their slugging percentages are against certain pitches, or just handling our pitching staff, getting to know them, their personalities. Every single one of these guys is vastly different. Some guys are a little crazy in the head. You kind of got to get on them. Other guys, you got to baby a little bit sometimes. But you got to know each guy true and true. And knowing them gives them the confidence to have the confidence in you to catch them, whether it's throwing the curveball in the dirt with a runner on third base, just having that ultimate confidence.
Yeah, there's the fourth job right there, is being a manager, so to speak. Maybe that's why so many catchers wind up being managers, is you have to kind of handle the personalities of pitchers and your other teammates as well, it seems like.
100%.
The NFL season is here. Kevin is psyched, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. That's $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Sounds like a pretty good deal, people. And what makes FanDuel amazing is that it's quick, easy, and it's the best way to add a little green Skittles on your Sunday that you don't know where to put them. Well, you can use FanDuel for that. You got same game parlays, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Yeah, I was just going to say, what gets more tired after a game for you? The body as a catcher, the nicks and bruises that you get, foul tips and what have you, or is it the mental exhaustion? Because I'm going to foreshadow a future question here, but a right fielder might be able to get maybe 2-3 catches a game, and he can just kind of space out sometimes. And a catcher cannot space out, because if he does, then he's going to get a 101 mile an hour fastball in his in his face. So
that's true.
What after a game? What is more exhausted for you? Is it the mentals, or is it your body?
I would definitely say the body. The mental side of things, I absolutely love the mental chess game out there when it comes to calling a game, like setting up a batter, when it's calling a pitch in this situation, or doing a couple fake shakes, or just like seeing my pitcher execute. I absolutely love that mental chess battle out there. It almost gives me a little satisfaction when the pitcher's doing a lot better, obviously. Then, yeah. But going back to it, the physical toll is definitely the most part, especially the amount of games I caught this year and the amount of beatings I took. I know if you would ask anyone on Montgomery, like, does Tatum get beat up a bit back there? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he does.
I bet you do. Do you miss putting fingers down for pitch signs, or is the pitch comm just now normal for you?
We didn't actually have pitch comm in AA, and that would make my life so much easier. So much easier. I used it a bit during spring training games. That's where I got my real first look at when I was with Seattle, and then using it a little more as I played in the spring training games with the Rays this past couple years. But going into AA, like the pitch clock, it just starts winding down sometimes. It would be so much easier if it was just hitting a button and instantly the pitcher knows exactly what sign he wants. Or if there's another team, I know like Birmingham and the affiliate of the White Sox, they like trying to steal signs. So that's kind of just like an added stress factor out there. Like, okay, we got to always change the signs, make sure it's encrypted so they don't take it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of AA for a moment, so you were an all-star, had a really good season. How does AA compare or contrast to high A or low A? Like, how much is the jump up in the ability of players in AA? I've heard the story that, you know, there's a lot of talent in AA, maybe more talent in AA than AAA, where AAA you have those kind of older veteran types or quad A players, where AA you can see a lot of, you know, superstars in the making. But just what is the adjustment or what's it like playing in AA compared to some of the lower leagues in the minors?
You know, going to AA this year, everyone told me was how the Southern League was one of the top leagues in all of baseball, no matter what. Like that's where all the prospects are. That's where all the pitchers go. Like it's unbelievable what I heard before going into the season and actually opening up the season. It was really cool to see the amount of talent that was in this league. I mean, especially earlier in the year when there was guys like Chase Burns, Noah Schultz out there, like top prospects all over the league. And the biggest thing I would say from the jump from low A, high A to double A is definitely like the plans the pitchers have up there. Like every once in a while, you would get a guy in low A or high A that just has absolutely elite stuff, but doesn't really have the command or the pitch ability to use that stuff he has. But in double A, it's more of like, okay, I kind of have an idea of how this guy's going to pitch me or how this team is going to attack me based on what I've done in the past or what I've been showing tendency wise.
Obviously, just getting to talk to you today, you have the brain of a catcher 1,000%, the way you see the game. I have seen, and you have told us earlier that you do have some first base background. However, I did not see any first base being played in 2025. Is that by design, that the Rays are trying to say, you know what, let's just get you a full-time catcher? Because all the innings you played, basically, you know, I think you had 12 games as a DH, but the rest of them were as a catcher.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think my pitching coach told me at the end of the year, I think I ended up like 65% of the games or something like that we played this year. And I know earlier in the year, one of my teammates, Ricardo Enoves, went down with a foot injury, and that kind of left a hole for a little bit at first base. And I went up to the coach, and I was like, hey, like, whatever you guys need. If you guys need me to pick up an inning or a game at first base, like I got you. And the catching coordinator was like, no, we like you catching. Like we want you catching. Like that is what you're gonna do. And that's when I continue catching 4 games a week and throughout the end of the year.
Wow. And speaking of that, I'm just curious. So being one of the most tolling positions, if not the most tolling positions, physically and mentally, how do you keep yourself fresh during the course of a long season like that? Like, what do you do in between the games that allows you to be ready and be up mentally and physically for, you know, 4 days a week or however many games you play a week?
I can definitely attest to that, to my routine and the maintenance work I put in with our trainer as well as our entire staff. I mean, I like getting in there pretty early, whether it is to get a lift if I have an off day that day or just a lot of stretching. I like to stretch in the morning when I wake up before I go to bed. And then obviously when I get to the field for pregame work and everything like that, I like to try to stay loose as much as possible. I feel like that just helps prevent injuries maybe. And then obviously doing the ice tub, hot tub, I'll do like cupping on my shoulder. I try to stay away from like needling and stuff like that, but really also just listening to my body. If my body is one day saying like, hey, like I kind of need to take it back a little bit, like I'll do a little bit less for say like on field BP. I'll just take it to the cages, keep it a little lighter that day, but really just listening and not trying to overdo it at times if I know I'm kind of getting to that point.
How difficult is it for a professional athlete to listen to their body and tell that to a coach saying, hey, I don't think I have it 100% in me today, knowing that ultimately everybody is competing for one role? Does it get difficult to speak that out loud of like, I'm not 100%. I need to say this to someone?
That's definitely a hard conversation to have, and knock on wood, I haven't had to have that conversation of like, hey, like I'm not good to go this day. It's usually just been like, hey, like I'm feeling this, either it's like my shoulder or say a knee or my hamstring or something like that. Like, hey, something's just nagging me. Like keep an eye on it just in case. Like just keeping them aware so they're not surprised by something that may happen.
Right. Okay.
Now, moving ahead to 2026, getting ready for the off season, and I'm sure you kind of have some goals in mind for next year. What are you focusing on improving for next season? Hopefully, not just playing in AA, but AAA, and maybe getting a call up to the majors. Just do you have a couple pinpoints of, hey, this is what I want to be able to do better to elevate myself to the next level?
I know just in terms, we haven't even have our postseason like interviews yet going over the season and everything. I know just from a personal standpoint, I'd love to improve on the numbers I put up this year, especially on the defensive side things. Continue throwing out runners at a high rate and continuing to handle the pitching staff at a high rate as well as my framing. That's the biggest emphasis I put on is my catching stuff, making sure I'm 100% available for those guys. And, going into spring training, just doing whatever the Rays ask of me and trying to be a team guy and do whatever is needed of me.
Now, those meetings that happen after the season, do you have a date for them, or is it November, December? Is it January? Like, do you have a timeline of when those actually happen?
I think it'll be coming up in the next few weeks. I know a bunch of the coaches and everything are still getting back from the season, as well as like taking vacations and stuff like that, obviously. But I think those are going to be coming out in the next few weeks, maybe the next month or so.
All right. No, do not disturb on the phone. I hope when that happens. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. Isn't that nice? And you and I make decisions every day. Kevin does as well. But on PrizePicks, being right means cashing. And wouldn't it be nice to be right and get some green Skittles back? Well, PrizePicks does exactly that. It's quick, easy, and everybody's favorite way to follow along with football. So today, download the PrizePicks app and use code LOCKEDONMLB. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So again, download the PrizePicks app, use code LOCKEDONMLB, and you get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, and you got to use Game Time. Why? Well, because it's actually fun to get tickets using Game Time. You know why? Because there's no surprise fees. That's my favorite part about Game Time. You don't just get stuck with all these fees at the end of the line that you didn't think that you would get. Okay? It's the price you see. That's the price that you pay. So take advantage and download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Do you have any off-season plans? Are you traveling anywhere? Are you staying put, watching your Eagles put a beating on our Bucks, or is that something else?
I'm sorry about that this past Sunday, but hey, go Birds. But other than that, though, just enjoying being home here in Philly, eating a lot of good food. I definitely missed the home cooked meals up here, as well as all the different eating spots in Philadelphia. But other than that, I'm a pretty avid golfer, so trying to get out on the golf course as much as I can. Not a good golfer, but I like trying to get out there.
Yeah, two questions there. What is your current handicap as a golfer?
When I was playing against my buddy yesterday, I was playing off of a 12.
Hey, that's not bad. So you're shooting, 84, 86-ish, give or take?
Around there on a good day. Trying to break 80 for the first time. So hopefully
that's pretty good. Hey, you're better than a lot of people, including me. So now that we have that figured out, what's your go-to meal? Getting some home cooked meal and some meals at restaurants in Philly. Just what's some of your favorite spots?
Anything my mom cooks. She is a very good Italian cook, makes homemade pasta. So honestly, anything she makes, I am always a sucker for. Other than that, though, I am a real sucker for the cheesesteaks in Philly. Not the name brand spots. I have a couple hole in the wall places that I like, but other than that, though, the Italian food like pizza and stuff like that is really good in the city as well.
I was told by a guy who was a big Philly fan that you don't call subs, you call them hoagies. Is this correct?
Hoagies, yes.
Right, I got that right. I also want to get you to tell us about a little day in the life. Take us into a day where you're in Montgomery, you wake up, you're having a game. what goes on when you snooze? Are you a snoozer 3 times? You just get up immediately? Like, take us from that time until you go to bed. Like, how does a day in the life look like for you, Tatum?
I'll take you through like a simple like Sunday day game for us. Usually wake up around like 8 or 9, get some breakfast. I like to sit on the porch for a little bit, like taking some sunlight early in the morning. I feel like that helps wake me up. I like to head to the field usually pretty early. Like if we have to be there around like 11, I like to get there around like 10, 9:30, do my stretching, getting the lift in and stuff like that. Then usually we have like a little like Bible study chapel session that we do with a bunch of the guys. And then sometimes we have a minister come in that'll talk to all of us as well. Other than that, just I like to hang around the guys a lot when we have downtime, playing some cards, just talking, watching TV, playing video games, playing ping pong in the locker room. We had a real good team camaraderie this year. I mean, this is probably the most I've ever had a team get along. And that's saying something if it's in professional baseball also, not just like college where you're kind of forced to like those guys. Some guys in professional can kind of go astray and like, oh, it's me. But really this team this year was unbelievable. We had so much fun on a daily basis and that made showing up to the field that much better every day.
That's awesome.
No,
But going back to the schedule, then say game at 1, play the game, get after the game. We usually get some food. Like we'll go out, maybe get some drinks if that's the end of the week. Sit down, watch some football if it's a football season like it has been the past few weeks, and just hang out.
Nice. Now, besides Montgomery or teams that you were on, what's been your favorite city to visit as a minor league ball player?
Oh, that's a really good question. I love the area of California, just like the scenic, like mountains out there, as well as the food. So being out there was kind of cool. I didn't play here in professional baseball, but when I was at Pitt, we had our ACC championship game in Charlotte, and that was a beautiful stadium there. But as well as that, Knoxville had a brand new stadium this year, and I mean Knoxville as a city is a great spot, and the stadium was absolutely beautiful. So that was really cool.
Is it tough? Is it easy with your schedule to actually get to know these places, or are you so tired that you're like, I am okay with just going back to my room and not do anything?
I definitely do like to chill after the games and stuff like that. I'm not really big on like going out and seeing places, but I do like to try to experience some food when I'm in different cities. Hard to do when we don't have a car and anything, but try to do my best, like Uber Eating or something like that, like trying to get a unique spot to that city and not just like a local like name place.
Cool.
Yeah. Another thing we wanted to get your take on, Tatum, the MVP debate in Major League Baseball. And I know you're a catcher, so you might have a certain perspective on this, but are you team Cal Raleigh or team Aaron Judge right now for the American League?
I mean, first and foremost, absolutely unbelievable season on both parts. Cal Raleigh's having one of the best offensive seasons we've ever seen from a catcher. But at the end of the day, everything Aaron Judge is doing and the statistics that he's putting up, whether it's you're looking at batting average, homers, WAR, wins, like everything, he's having one of the best seasons again of all time. And I really don't think you can give it to anyone but him. as much as I want to give it to Cal, like it's like the Shohei thing. Like if Shohei's pitching and hitting and he's doing what he's doing, like you can't really give it to anyone else.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. This is really good to know because we were thinking, okay, catchers are going to, but maybe it's just the numbers that he's putting up are video game
absurd. It's actually video game absurd. People are getting too used to like, oh, Judge is just doing what Judge does. Like
no, this is odd.
This is almost a right-handed Barry Bonds.
Yeah, exactly. This stretch of 22 to 25 has been unreal. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, well, Kevin, are you ready for some quick hitters with Tatum? Okay, I'll get it started. Favorite junk food?
Ooh, Sour Patch Kids.
Okay. Favorite TV show or whatever's on Netflix or Hulu? What's your go-to?
Oh, I was really big, but not on The Office for like background noise or anything like that.
Okay.
Favorite music?
Ooh, country.
Favorite band?
Oh, I've been really big on Tyler Nance right now.
Okay.
What is a hidden talent of yours?
I kind of spoiled it earlier, but I'd say swimming.
Okay.
Swimming. Okay, fair enough. When was the last time you swam? Just not for fun, but like trying to hype yourself up?
Probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Like I actually like tried like, okay, like I want to see what time I can get right now. But before that, the only competitive event I'd done last was my senior year of high school.
Gotcha. Childhood baseball hero?
Oh, Carlos Ruiz. Growing up in Philly, he was the catcher growing up. I had to watch him.
He was an animal, man.
Animal.
That's a really good one. That's a good one.
Okay, if you could only watch one team for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Tampa Bay. Oh, wait. Any sports team or baseball?
So I was actually going out of your Philly sports teams, like Eagles, Phillies, Flyers. Eagles. Okay.
Eagles all day.
Decided.
Tatum, thank you so much for all the time that you have given us. I think people are going to root for you, support you, and all that you do. And if you want to say some words to Rays fandom, this is your shot.
I mean, I appreciate everyone with the Rays, and I am absolutely excited for next year and bring you guys some good baseball, and go Rays. And thank you, Ulises, and thank you, Kevin, for having me on here. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely. And hey, we're rooting for you, Tatum. Major Leagues, Tropicana Field. We're looking forward to that.
You're gonna try out Durham food very soon. That's what.
Very excited to try that next, hopefully.